your breath, no doubt it's me who's running this. No, I got nothing else to lose. Unstoppable.
Eleanor, welcome back to Charmingly Toxic, where we're going to discuss all things Love is Blind reunion.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about. I'm so happy to be back.
I was not disappointed by the reunion. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, there were some parts that I was like the whole interaction with the audience. It's like the basketball thing from last time. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I don't care. I want to talk about the people on the stage.
Well, did they say that the whole audience was past cast members?
It couldn't have been because there are parents in there, new girlfriends.
True. It made it seem like there was no randoms in the audience. It was all people kind of connected to the show. It did seem
like that. And then, like, I've watched every season, and I didn't care or know if any of those people in the audience. Like, their stories where they were like, so-and-so had a baby. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Is that season 6? I don't know. I'm ready for the new one.
Let's start. Well, they all come out, and I noticed that everyone got big cheers except for Alex. No one cheered for him, so that was good. Did you notice that?
I did not notice, but I'm not surprised. It makes my stomach just upset. Like, I get angry and so
we'll get to him. Okay, so let's just start with Vic and Christine and get it over with. I mean, I got to be honest. I watched like 2 minutes and then I fast forwarded through it because I don't care.
Same. And the whole wedding, I was like, is this a 30-minute like interview of how much you love each other? And I'm like, am I an awful person for not caring about this? Because this is not dramatic. This is the most vanilla thing I've ever seen.
I am such a realist that people who talk about each other this way and like so glowy, flowery, everything's beautiful terms, I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it.
Well, and then they're like, oh, she like... so annoying because she wears a lot of socks. You know, I'm like,
yeah, come on.
Like, you're right. Like, you don't have to air your dirty laundry because it seems like you two are the only people on stage that have any class at all. However, this seems, and I'm not saying it's not true, but it's too syrupy. Like, I'm like, this is not what people watch this for.
Yeah, not at all. At the end, though, they did give him a vacation.
I saw that. And then they were reading, like, you can do your taxes jointly. And I'm like, I was like, even I was like, barf, come on. I'll take the free vacation. Yeah. And they never explained them not going to Cabo. That was the other thing. They just kind of, yeah. But they never addressed it, which I think was shady. Like, what happened?
So now we get into Amber and Jordan. Great television right here.
So angry. So angry.
What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts was she, although she's probably a lovely person and all that, she's not emotionally healed or mature or evolved enough to have been on this show. And I thought of this later after I was kind of like, what am I going to say on this podcast? It made me realize that people that come on this show with children that are scarred from past relationships, marriages, whatever, their expectation is not realistic, which is, I want to find the perfect person that loves me and my kid. And then you fit like a lock and then everything's great. And it's happened twice in the last 2 seasons, but it just never lands. And the person usually the woman ends up resenting the man for even trying.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for Jordan because I was just like, he just seems like a dude's dude, and you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you're like, you don't love me. You wouldn't drive 45 minutes to come and see me. Like, I was just like, sister, this is it just gave me the like, I understand what's happening here and you just aren't healed enough. That was my thought.
I mean, the thing here is, and the audience was kind of like agreeing with her, but I don't think he should have gone up there every night. And I certainly don't think he should have moved in with her. And he didn't right away because she has this daughter. You can't just move a stranger into the house and be like, this is my husband now. Or have him come up every night of the week or stay over every night of the week. Like, you've got to take this very slowly with a child.
And it was like half in, half out. I'm like, are you married or are you not married? Like, you've got to pick one because you're living this. I want to yell at you being married and I want to yell at you not being here. And I'm like, clearly you both of you are not happy. I
She
was
did.
surprised that they said yes at the altar, because
I
I
hold
was
her
like,
more
this,
responsible, honestly.
for
I do
sure.
hold her way more responsible because you brought your kid into this.
And I get why she's angry. I get it. And I can also see it as a person that has done a lot of healing work on past relationships and past hurts, that I can go, you're not there yet. So to put yourself in this position to get married in 3 weeks, right? Obviously, just not like a realistic sense of how relationships work and how we introduce children to new step parents and like all of that. And granted, it was new to all of them, but
You can't
yeah.
do that.
And he, I felt like, was a collateral damage, innocent bystander. I mean, I'm sure he had his faults, and like it sounded like they had a few drag out arguments. Like she got wasted at his best friend's wedding and she was in the
Yeah.
car. I was dying because I'm like, I've actually been in that situation, and my husband graciously locked me in a car and was just like, you cannot go anywhere. Like, that sounds like a reasonable answer.
I think that wedding was probably so toxic because she was probably pissed off the entire time that he was acting like a groomsman and not paying attention to her. And so she was just drinking more and more and more. And, you know, she couldn't tolerate.
And you even got a snippet of it at the first get together at the bar, when she was like, if you want to break up with me, just do it right now. And he's like, I didn't even, like, what are you talking about? And I could feel that sort of angst. And she was just like, it was just a ticking time bomb of like mini explosion. And then he's just like, I can't live like this.
Yeah.
He even said it, I can't apologize for other people's shit that they did to you. It's not
She
fair.
was also insane and saying, and people online were supporting this too, of like, well, you should have said goodbye to my daughter. So they're fighting and breaking up, and he should be like, okay, now I'm going to go into your daughter's room and say goodbye.
Yeah, she's going to say, get the fuck out, is what she's going to say.
No.
Don't talk to my daughter. But she was looking for sympathy votes.
Yes.
Of, oh, how dare you? And you, when you're the one who introduced them, she's got a lot of work to do. And if she doesn't realize it, she will someday. But she's not in any reasonable headspace for a relationship of this magnitude.
She was so in the wrong.
Yeah, when you just see somebody so hurt and so angry, you're like, you got to take some time and come down from this, because, you know, the girls are all, yeah, sister, yeah. And I'm like, you can be angry, but like, nobody wronged you here.
Yeah. I really hope production is like, this is it on the kids. We've got 2 seasons with kids. It's a disaster. The kids probably really suffer.
Yeah. I mean, somebody that's trying to get married in 3 weeks with a child, like that just should not be in the recipe.
She goes off on Chris. Do you see her like ripping Chris apart?
Before we move on, did you see middle of the show when they had moved on to a separate couple? He's sitting right here and she's sitting like this.
Yeah.
I was like, girl.
Well, I guess they were giving her props for, you know, standing up for Jessica and, you know, being so mean to Chris and be like, I hate you, Chris, I hate you. And then kind of giving props to Jordan, like, well, you're not a complete
she's like,
bag.
Yeah.
Like Chris is.
And everyone was like, whoa, wait a minute. And she's like, no, he's a douche. But he's kind of a good guy, but I just fucking hate him.
Yeah. Unhinged. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to Bree and Connor.
I remember texting you like 2 weeks ago, and I'll go, what is her deal? I still don't know her deal. She keeps talking about not being the best version of herself. What are you talking about? Is that an excuse to be a bitch? I don't understand. I've never used these terms.
She's just toxic, and he just keeps giving her a lot of chances. And I don't know why. Yeah. He seems clueless. And clearly they caught her in some lies on the reunion about that trip they went to on girls' trip with Devontae to the concert.
What the hell was that?
I mean, she's just a liar and just
Do you think
leaves
she's
out
like an
information.
Opportunist? Like, just to put herself in a good light? Like, what did she have to gain?
Exactly. You know, there's talk online about those 3 girls being like the mean girls. So it was Ashley and Priyanka.
The girl in the audience, Priyanka. Yeah. I didn't. And so, I mean, I just watched this, so I didn't get a chance to see any backlash, but
those were the three girls that were talking to Chris at the bar when Chris was kind of trying to hit on Bree after the fact and he was so
Yep.
drunk. And so those were the same three girls that went on this girls trip and invited Devante. And we'll get to that later, but she's not a girl's girl. I think she's used to hanging out with guys more and getting a lot of attention from guys. I think she's going to break Connor's heart. I don't think they're going to be together much longer.
I don't even know why they're together. I didn't feel any love from either one of them.
Mm-mm.
And yet, like you said, he's totally clueless. Like, he's sort of like, I don't know. She was talking some shit, but I wasn't paying attention. You know, like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well for him. She said she was like, when they were talking to her, she goes, well, it was never between Connor and Chris. It was never between Connor and Chris. I was all Connor all the time from the jump. I'm like, do you think we didn't watch the show? In Mexico, you were trying to get with Chris.
Yeah, I think you're right about like just the topic nature of somebody who believes their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think she's authentic
At all. And I think she wanted a lot of TV time. I think she was like a cool girl. You know, she thought she was one of the cooler people on the cast. I don't think, and we'll get to this more, I don't think that she liked Brittany.
It was
And
so mean. That whole
so mean.
So I saw it from both sides because I've been in a predicament where my behavior inadvertently hurt somebody that I was not intending. And that sucks because you're like, I understand how that hurt you and I didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
So I see Bree's side on that. But she was like, I was engaged and you didn't think to text me. You were hanging out with my fiance. Like, to me, not excusable.
You know, we know girls. We know how women operate. I bet you anything on that trip, they were like, oh, thank God you ditched her. She was annoying. Like, she was all up in your business. She got her dressed before the show.
You could see it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're trying to save face on the reunion, be like, we didn't know it all. Those girls were ripping her to shreds on that trip.
It's unfortunate. I thought, I mean, there's some bitches on there, but I thought they were pretty nice. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. Just ripping somebody apart to rip them apart.
I mean, typically the girls on the show are really tight. You know, they have a bond that they went through the show together, but there seems to be not that with this particular group.
Yeah, I agree. Like, she saying the right things? Or what do you mean?
Like she knows what to say, how to work her image on camera.
Yeah, that's when the whole breakup scene way before the weddings, like before got called off, like that's when I texted you and I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Did I miss part of an episode or something? You know, it kind of was like she's saying all these things and she's like, and he's like, yeah, cool. Do you see that SNL skit with Pete Davidson when he's like, yeah, whatever.
No.
Yeah. Because she's like telling him all this stuff and he's like, okay, like, are we breaking up or like what? And she's talking in circles and even on the reunion, she's like, I'm just not the best version of myself. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is she? Can you get her?
We would love to see her because we haven't.
Because this is not working for me.
I think she was trying to get him to break up with her in that whole scene, and he didn't.
I think so. So then that way she had an out. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't whatever. Yeah, I don't like when people skirt responsibility and like I did what I could. Like, Brittany, I just thought you didn't want to come. Like on the concert. And then the whole Airbnb was a shit show. And I was just like, and I did not think anybody was trying to hook up with him. So to me, I was kind of like, that's logistics. However, there's a lot of lying going on.
Yeah, a lot of lying. But I wonder, since we never saw who Priyanka was dating in the pods, if she had dated Devante in the pods or not. We didn't ever know who she was.
Oh, he's having a baby with somebody.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they had some sort of connection in the pods.
But they know each other.
I know.
Because they weren't. Yeah, like it's sus. And it's quite frankly, I'm like, I don't care that much. He's kind of a douche, but we're talking about Breezy. So what do you think of Breezy's, what's his name?
Connor?
Yeah. So they broke up and now they're back together. What do you think of, you said it's not going to last. What do you think is going on between them?
She
And
just like keeps him like a little bit in and like on a tether. I think she was
okay,
doing it specifically to get to the reunion because she didn't want a bad edit. She's like a PR girl, I think.
she's acting for the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't think of it that way, but I did see her on a couple podcast interviews, like on TikTok or whatever. And you're right. She was always very poised, always very like, no, this is how I interpreted that situation. And this is like, she was very good at it. But now that you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, that I had a little tingle of that's not quite authentic enough for me. But yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, they'll break up soon.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, if not already, because this was filmed like a week ago.
Right. All right, so then we go to Chris. Nick Lachey and his wife are not the best hosts, but they really came through on this reunion. And Nick ripped this guy apart, which was great.
Yeah.
What was up with his stupid hairdo?
I didn't even know it was the same person. You know how they like show who it was? And I was like, which one is that? And you could tell he was eating crow a little bit, and like just the flushing in his face when everybody was tearing him down, he just kind of took it. And I was like, okay, good boy. You're not trying to be all defensive and flipping people off, and you're not pulling an Alex, right? You're actually being a man. So I gave him a little bit of credit there.
I think also he was looking at what he looks like and acts like when he's intoxicated, and it was a huge wake-up call. Like, I have a problem with alcohol.
Yeah, and sometimes you need that mirror to actually remember your behavior. I mean, we all know it was gross, the scene in the bathroom where he's like, I, do her and screw my friend. And Connor was even like, I didn't give it two shits because like we were supposed to be friends and now we're not. Okay. It's kind of like dudes. Like they're like, okay. Maybe it was an alcohol thing.
I think so. I think he does not understand the extent of what an asshole he is when he drinks. He probably has blacked out a lot and was like, oh my God, my worst moments are on TV. Not that he's not been a drinker before, right? But now they're recorded and everyone can see, and I can't explain this away.
Yeah. But do you think he was drunk when he was breaking up with her? About like, there was this whole thing where he said what he said about like, I wish you worked out or whatever. I date women that work out, with the implication that was never said that her body isn't good enough for him. That was the implication, whatever he meant by that. But like, do we really think he meant that? I'm like giving him a pass of like, did you just say something terrible? Or do you really think that she was fat or whatever in his brain he thought she was?
Well, so I read this online. So the day that they went to see her house was the same night that he left and didn't talk to her for 2 days. So there's an assumption, or some people are thinking, he went and got wasted with his friends and hooked up with someone.
Oh.
Or multiple people or whatever, and came back and was like, I have to come up with a reason to get out of this. But I'm not going to say I got drunk and cheated on you.
I'm going to say we're not compatible.
Right.
That's an interesting theory.
Which in his mind sounds less douchey, but it's not, right? It's still disgusting.
It would actually be more of a man if he said that, if that was the truth. That's interesting. I just felt the whole breakup conversation was just very, and she was a queen for being as poised, and she's just like, okay, so I'm a doctor. I can't work out as much as you want, and I don't look like what you want. So is that what you're saying? And it was kind of, it's interesting. I've heard this before. When you repeat somebody's shit back to them, they're like, oh, well, when you say it like that, like, how else would you like me to say it? Right? Like, I'm not adding words. I'm adding like inflection, but this is exactly what you're saying. So yes, he's a douche, but I think he's just an immature douche, and he needed a scapegoat reason. I think that's probably it. And she's lovely, I think.
Clearly, I don't think it had anything to do with her body or him being physically attracted to her. Like everyone was saying, he saw how wealthy and established she was. He freaked out and was like, I'm never going to be able to match up to her.
Wait, is he a
professionally.
garbage man? Is he the one? No,
No,
that's
he's
Connor.
software sales.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that's unfortunate because that's supposed to be one of the things that are in the pods of like, oh, it doesn't matter. We have this connection. It doesn't matter what our lives look like, which we all know it does. So why are
Yeah, it does.
we can still have this show and admit that some truths are truth. Like if I'm not
Right.
physically attracted to somebody because I haven't seen them, it's okay to say that.
Right.
But for some reason, it's very shameful.
Well, then they show her later. She's with that other guy. What was his name?
From the show, the doctor, yeah.
Yeah, this guy from the audience. How cute were they together?
He's like, you are the queen of my queendom. And, I was just like, okay, dude.
Oh, see, I
I'm
thought
not,
they were a good match and cute.
yeah, I thought it was cute, but I was just a little bit like, somebody get the microphone. But
Yeah.
good for her. Like, I hope that
Yeah.
works. And he understands her job and her lifestyle. And hopefully they're on even playing field if that's an issue. Right.
Okay,
And then
bye. So they give me hope. Hopefully they'll stick together. They give me more hope than the couples that
who is
said I
even
do.
together? Just the boring one. They're the
Yeah.
only ones. Okay.
Okay, so we go to Mike and Emma. I just got to say this, and I probably said this the last time, but Mike is from an Italian family who clearly are not from Ohio. They clearly grew up in Jersey, transplanted
Clearly.
to Ohio,
Coffee.
right? Their accents, the way that they talk about family, no way in hell was Emma ever going to penetrate that. No way. Even if she wanted kids, nope.
Nope. It would have
No
been an
way.
uphill battle the entire marriage. And some people choose that battle, right? So the fact that he didn't, like, I'm like, good. You didn't, prolong this torture where she hates your mom and your mom hates her and the
Hates
whole,
her.
we've seen it in our friends. We've seen it everywhere.
My life.
Our own life, not mine, fortunately, but a lot of my close friends experience this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised though that they had pre-agreed to not say yes.
And or what's her name was pissed. Vanessa, did you hear her?
Which one was
She's
Vanessa?
like, we don't want our couples to pre-agree.
Oh no, I didn't hear that. So people break up before they get to the altar. So are they allowed to do that? Like, stop. Shut up. No. I was surprised about the pre-agreement, and then she went back on it. And they did shed light to, you're in the moment and you're like, maybe this can work. So I appreciated that honesty of like, I'm sure if that was me, I'd be like, we can make it work. Let's just do it. Right. And that's, I think, what happened to her. And he stood firm. And I think it was the right choice. He's like, you weren't
Absolutely.
100%, and it wasn't fair for me to ask you that. And so his maturity made me feel like, okay, you guys are probably the two most normal people up here.
Yeah. I mean, it's for sure. She was like in La La Land the whole time, kind of denying that this was a huge deal breaker for him. And the whole time she's like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I'll get there. And then at the altar, she's like, oh, maybe I.
Right.
I'm back down to earth. This is a non-negotiable.
And maybe part of it was he was just like, I maybe don't want to have kids with you. If I have to do this much convincing, it's like those people that like, I want somebody to choose me 100%, not just because I'm the only choice. Right? And I feel like that was what he wanted with a family. I want you to want this. I can't convince you to want this. And then you resent me. Just, it wasn't good. And we do have to mention her sister's stance on children.
Oh.
I laughed and I was like, girl, we don't say that out loud. We don't say it on TV.
I mean, I kind of give her props because I have said that many, many times, and I don't think we allow moms to say.
We don't allow it.
There are times in every mom's life when we're like, what the fuck did I just do? Why did I have these kids? I am so overwhelmed. This is so hard. And her kids are like that age where they are completely overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, and to this day, who doesn't fantasize about having married somebody else and where their life would be? That's just a thing that people do. I don't think it says like, I hate my life, but it was just like the way people ran with that on social media. I'm surprised they didn't mention it they usually bring that shit up in the reunion, like she's in the audience or something, but they didn't. Maybe they just
I would like her to come back and like double down on it and challenge other moms. Like, you've never thought this because again, I'm a realist. I don't coat things in flowery BS. And I know
Yeah.
every mom at some point has been like, I'm drowning.
Yeah. And it's like, own your shit. This imposed shame on women, right, for any choice is just, it's complete bullshit. And I think we're at 2026, we're calling people out on it and going, I'm allowed to feel this way. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that I agree with you. I think that needs to be more out
And,
there,
and
supported.
even though she feels like that right now with these little kids that look like they're like 3 and 1,
2 and 4. Yeah, exactly.
right? She may feel completely differently 3 years from now when they're take care of themselves, you know, or they're not as a handful. So give her some grace, people. But I want to say again that I think Mike did Emma a big favor in saving her from his family.
Yeah, she was not going to survive happily.
No. Mm-mm.
She could have done, like, she had the strength to put up with it, but do you want that for your life? Do you want that battle? And then if you decide you're having kids is a no, then living with that sort of guilt of, well, you said yes, right? Like, no.
Type of family is we're up in your business all the time and you're spending every moment with us also, right? It's like every holiday, every this, not a lot of space for, you know, just
venturing out on your own or having your own life.
Right. And Mike's new girlfriend looks like she fits the perfect mold.
Couldn't get a read. But
she looks like she's supposed to look for his family. Dark hair, to be Italian. Yeah, like that's what they want her to look like.
Good. All around.
So good, yeah.
And I think they were the maturest couple there. I don't think it should have gotten all the way to the altar with one of them saying yes, but I understand how she got swept up in this fairy tale. She had already worked through a lot of her self-esteem and body dysmorphia demons, I think, which allowed her to be in a good place.
Absolutely.
A lot of the other people not work through their shit.
Correct. Okay, so now Ashley and Alex. This guy, Vanessa, was great with him, calling him out like, you are not.
And he snapped back at her and she was like, that's not what we're doing here. I love that. Oh, that moment. I was like, do it again.
So good.
Do it again.
That just encapsulated who he is, where she's like, you are so inauthentic. Your guard is up 24/7. Yeah, it's like he's kind of like a robot or something, or has these AI answers.
Yeah.
You know,
when somebody said that, I was like, that's exactly what it's like. I wanted to ask you, because you help mostly women that have dealt with narcissistic abusers, and his constant need to show his receipts for his Airbnb and his like flight itinerary, like this constant, you want to check? And I mean, no, everybody was like, it's not what we're saying. Like, do you think by showing that it justifies your behavior? And as a therapist, like, is that what are they doing with this constant need to defend themselves?
So it's gaslighting. So as he's saying it, he knows he's lying. He knows he doesn't have receipts for those Airbnbs or for the flights. He knows it. He's saying it to make her unsure of herself as to why she would question him. She had every right to question him. People online were ripping her apart. Like, she needs too many details. She should stop. She's so insecure.
When he kept saying, you asked me a billion questions. And she says like, well, yeah, it didn't make sense. Like,
her gut was saying, none of this is adding up. And that's why she kept asking. I don't think it was insecurity. She was like, I know he's lying.
I didn't think she was. In fact, I was like, I don't know how you stuck around with this loser this long. But then they were trying to breed sympathy. Alex was trying to breed sympathy for getting grilled by her father, who, well, the whole, like, are you a Trump thing? I was just like, barf. I can't even go on. I couldn't even go on at the beginning, but now it's even worse. But he was just like, yeah, and your dad grilled me, and you think I want to have sex with you after that?
That was,
he
was disgusting. Or he said, I wasn't, did you really want me to, or something like take you?
Yeah.
Meaning, I was like, what is this verbiage? You are disgusting.
Yeah. And it was even grosser than that. It was something like, you want me to put it in you? Well, your dad just yelled at me. Or yeah, you're right. Ugh. It was just so cringe. And then, and I'm surprised her father wasn't there in the audience, but I guess it wasn't necessary at that point. But kudos to her for having rehearsed the perfect way And in the reunion to go, I wanted the world to know his answer didn't matter. This is not retaliation for him dumping me. This is how I feel right now. And I'm surprised, to be honest, I'm like, I don't know how it got that far, but she found herself in the end.
Well, here was the other narcissistic clue, was that when Nick Lachey was like, hey, you relate everything back to soccer. Like, let's look at this overall. Tell me in, soccer speak what it means. And what did he say? It was a tie.
I thought, let's go into that, because I thought you were talking about when he was like, yeah, it was like when Manchester played Spain. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
So
what
did you
mean?
Down at the half, but they came back and it was a tie, because a narcissist isn't going to say, I lost, right? He's not going to put himself below. He's going to put this PR. It was a tie. We walked away equally from each other.
Oh, she didn't dump me at the altar.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, good. I mean, fine. It's sort of like, sure, take that. We all saw what we saw, but I don't know what it is in me watching that makes me the angry part of like, no, you're not admitting that you're wrong.
He never will.
I know. And that's the part I'm like, I have to work on myself as a human. Like when those people are in my life, I'm like, I need to not care that you're never going to accept responsibility, because that will be my growth. But that is so triggering to me as just behavior.
Yeah. And you got to walk away being like, yep, it was a tie.
Yeah, exactly. And she had such poise, and like, God bless her for like, he's talking about her period and all this stuff. And but that was so funny when Vanessa was just like, you do know how periods work now, or something like that, that had come up. And she was like, oh, do we have to talk about this? And I was like, I feel you, girl, but yes, he's dumb. And it was an excuse.
One of the other best parts was they were like, where are you living now? And he's like, I'm crashing with Devante because I'm a fucking grifter and I don't have a place to live.
That whole thing was weird too. Like, what?
Yeah. So he's living with Devante's two houses because
pregnant girlfriend? And he was a pregnant girlfriend? Yeah, but like how anybody can find Alex remotely attractive, physically or otherwise, is beyond. He's just so awful.
So once I pointed out his little hair piece over here, could you not unsee it?
I didn't look for it in the finale.
I don't think he had it at the reunion.
Okay. He must have got enough flack online.
Yeah.
But to wrap up that relationship, I'm glad she finally came to the light. She knew it basically from the get-go, I think. And I think she kept trying to, well, maybe. And then she's just like, the old me would have put up with this shit. I'm not putting up with it. I deserve better. And even when he was gaslighting like Vanessa, she was sitting there going, like, you guys are seeing this, right? Like, I'm not crazy, even though he's the one telling me I'm crazy. So I feel like she really found herself, but she also did end up in this relationship. So there's some sort of attraction, I feel like, for repeat offenders of going, why do I always find these shitty guys, right? Like, it's gotta grow from something. I think that like the soil, you just need to like rip it all out. You're respecting yourself now, but you still found him.
I mean, I don't know her, but typically highly empathic women, it's their nature to always give the benefit of the doubt. And so they don't see the red flags as soon as other people do. And so great for her, because it sounds like her last relationship of 5 years, it took her 5 years. And it took her not that long.
3 weeks.
Right?
Yeah, or whatever their timeline was.
10 weeks or whatever it was. So good for her. And like, okay, she still got sucked in, but she saw it so much quicker and faster.
Yeah. So good for her. I hope he gets gonorrhea and loses a foot.
He probably already has it. Come on.
Can you imagine being with him? I would be like, stop talking. Could not.
All right. Hope to never see him again. And so the last couple is Brittany and Devante. So I had said, I think when we recorded the first time, when they went to Mexico, I do think he thought, she's too much for me. She needs too much attention. She talks a lot. I need more space from her. And she was reading it as like complete rejection. And maybe it was, and he just didn't know how to say it, which was what was on at the reunion. Like, you dragged this on for so long. You could have just told her in Mexico or wherever, I'm not into it. And he was saying that's a character fault in him, that he doesn't want to hurt people's feelings, so he doesn't tell them how he really feels.
I 100% see that for him. And I sympathize with that. I don't think it's right, but I think it's something that as anybody matures in relationships, communication, and life, like I think we all, well, not everybody was raised that way, but like we're raised to be people pleasers, don't say anything. And if you can say something that's like not quite true, but it's not going to hurt someone's feelings, do that instead. Like, I don't know if that maybe it's just how I was raised. I'm sure not everybody was raised that way, but like, don't make waves. And I feel like he did that to a fault because she's like, you could have broke up with me 5 weeks ago and you didn't. And he was like, well, I was fucking trying. But every time something else happened and I felt worse, you know? And so I really felt for him. And I feel like she was like, I will marry whoever. I just want to be married. I have the dress. I'm ready. People thought that was endearing and cute. And I looked at it as a red flag of like, honey, you're going to do it even if it's not right.
Well, to his point also, and I'm not a Devante fan, but she wouldn't let him break up with her.
Right. And
right?
That's where I feel compassion to him. I'm not a fan either. I just see, like, I'm like, it's not 100% on him, sister. And he's learning, and he actually is like, yeah, I fucked up. So like, I'm giving you a lot of props and benefit of the doubt then when her father, very kind, well-spoken man, and he held him accountable, and Devante stood up and was like, you're right. I made some mistakes, and I'm going to stand. And so like, I think the whole thing, it ended up fine because everybody copped to the truth at the end, except, you know, Brittany was like, I feel like I was swindled. And I'm like, well, you weren't, but you kind of set this up for yourself.
She accepted the bare minimum from him for a long time. And so
he kept like giving her a little bit and he's like, the little bit isn't the painful part. So I keep, you know, and then it's kind of like feeding a stray cat. So it's like, well, I just gave him a little bit today. So we should be done.
Overall, I don't like him. Do I think he's like demonic and like evil like Alex? No. He's immature and should never have gone on the show. And I do think he probably cheats on the girlfriends he has. I mean, he's just very immature.
It was just, and of course we have the value of watching their relationship unfold, right? Because even they say when they watch it back, they're like, oh, it wasn't like that, right? Which I believe. We watch it and we go, look how he looked at her, right? Like it could have just been anything. But you and I both know from that first day in Cabo when they were sitting on that couch on their porch, and she's just like, you don't have to tell me I'm pretty every day, but it would be nice. She's like, I don't think like you even see me. And I'm like, girl, why don't you stick to that and demand that if that's what you wanted? And if you didn't get it, that's the sign. But he didn't even, to his defense, he didn't go, okay, honey, you are so pretty. Not that he didn't think that. I'm sure he did think that. But he's not the kind of guy that says that. And if she needed that kind of interaction, you can't force somebody to do that.
I think the women on this show, or maybe not when they're going in, but once they're in that environment for a while, I feel like they think, if I don't get picked, I failed. There's something wrong with me. Or once they're in Mexico, if it doesn't go right, the women think, what did I do wrong? And I need to fix it.
Which is strange because it all hinges on them seeing each other, right? And then living happily ever after. But that's not at all what we've seen in 10 seasons. That's not at all. And they keep going, is love blind? And it's like, what the fuck up? This is just a weird social experiment that has actually nothing to do with, maybe in one or two cases, it had to do with like, I don't like the way this person looks. I can't get past it. Let me be. But for the most part, it's not that at all, because they're recruiting these people that look normal in our society, like all shapes and sizes.
Well, I hope she finds a boyfriend. I don't think Devante's going to stay with this baby mama. Who knows?
He didn't even feel comfortable talking about it, although, you know, the premise with the ex-girlfriend's father in the audience, and she's sitting there going, and they're like, is this the first you're hearing of this? And she's like,
I know. What a shitty thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that
don't even
would
give her the heads up in a
weird.
way.
In I was like cringe
See,
because
that's
I've been
what I don't
given.
like about him. Like, he's so immature. Like, think
Yeah.
about somebody else.
Well,
All right,
and
bye
I mean,
divorce.
the reunion's like a year after, so he got a girl pregnant in, yeah, I don't know, 9 months, I guess. I suppose it could have
Gross.
been a one night stand, but some of these people
That's
are
what I
in
was
like
thinking.
they're in relationships for like 7 months, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think it was like a one night stand, and they're like trying to make it work. So, okay, a couple of comments after. So they go around to the couples and Zach and Bliss. Did you watch their season? This is okay. Something about that couple. Everybody loves them and think there's like a perfect match, and they have one child named Galileo. To me, they are so cringe, so gushy, and then they have the dead grandma announce the gender of their new baby. It's like this is so on brand for them.
It was the whole thing was bizarre.
It's so like this is not a TV material.
I was as speechless as I am now. Like that's my brain was going like gender reveal, like what? Who? I mean, and I remembered them because people have been like blowing smoke up their butt for like 3 years now because they're a
Yes,
successful couple. But it's the whole thing is ick. I don't know.
I don't like him. I think something about him. There's something there. I can't put my finger on it. And the whole season, she's so passive though. You know, I can see her staying with him, but I wonder what
Yeah,
they're going to
it's
name
one
this.
of those that like, and I'm starting to see this because like my age range, most of my friends already had kids. We're out of the young kids phase, you know, and so like I'm seeing that when your relationship is built on having children to keep the marriage going, when the kids are old enough, there's nothing left of like, there's no spark left, or there's no like, I fucking hate you, man. Like, let's just, you know,
Right.
you see people getting divorced after 25 years and you're like, oh my God. And they're like, we've practically been divorced for 2 decades.
So on the show, they really rail that home because the timeline's so short and the women are at a certain age and they're going and being like, I want kids soon. So they get out, they're in this honeymoon stage of their relationship, they have kids, you know, and that kind of goal is met. Okay, did that. And they're
Yeah.
super hyper focused on the kids. And then down the line, they're like, ew, I don't even like you.
Yeah, and I think it's set, and then they have another kid to kind of just keep it going. And I mean, I have friends have 5 kids, and then they get to like, and then I'm like, are
Yeah.
you just done having kids? You just finally realized it? And like, no disrespect, I'm just saying that that realization for a couple to go, what, this was really not founded on something solid. And this whole show's premise is that they're saying it's this connection that can't, undeniable emotional connection without seeing, but I mean,
And then
it's a
they
TV show.
romanticize the pregnancies that come after. And like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, and now they're pregnant. It's like, whoa, they've known each other for like 1 year.
Yeah. And there was another couple, they didn't show them because they broke up, but they have 2 kids. And I think the second kid floated it another year or 2, but then they fell apart. And so it was, I mean, obviously very scripted of like who they're talking to in the audience and which couples are which, but like this whole like Omar from season 4, I'm like, I'm like, get to the, like, you're wasting my time.
Yeah, they just tried to stretch it out for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's so cheese, like the cheese factor of them bringing out those 2 vocalists who were clearly lip syncing at the end. That was so cringe.
So
and then
bad.
they're showing the highlights of the weddings. I'm like, this is over the top.
Yeah. Are people eating it up? Or, I mean, me and you were talking about it, so it must be like worth it.
I mean, I'm not a romantic. I mean, people can obviously guess that by now.
No, Denise.
Yes, all the romantics out there are like, this is great. So it's just with time that I've become a realist. I used to be romantic.
You call it realist. Some people may say pessimist. Potato, potato.
I don't think I'm a pessimist.
No, and you don't begrudge it for others. It's just like, and I agree with you, like my lived experience too. I'm not, I like walk the border. Like there's some things that I'm like, oh, that really got me. And some things I'm like, fuck that. I don't know. I don't. One thing is like Valentine's Day. I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want a flower. I don't want a card. I just don't. It's nothing against my partner, but I'm not interested because I think it's fake. And then there's people that are like, oh, chocolates and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well, I was like that when I met my husband early on, so I think it just changes with
Yeah.
time.
I choose to think people like you and I have evolved to, well, and I mean, you and I've talked about our private relationships with our spouses. It's like we have special things now. It doesn't have to be this manufactured thing that we never had.
Yeah.
Being married 22 years, like you get your own things.
Do you think that they're definitely going to bring back the show for sure because they have so many viewers. Do you think they're going to change the format at all? They're just going to keep to the same script.
Yeah, and the more mentally broken, the better. Just conspiracy theory. Why do you think the perfect couple on there was not highlighted at all?
You're right.
Right? Like nobody wants to see that. I want to see Amber
I
go
want to be
off
the therapist.
Yeah.
I volunteer to be the therapist that goes to Mexico on the side.
But the thing is, they don't want. So that's the thing, because you're going to make them see the real problems ahead. That's not good TV.
I know, but I want to be there to hear the
You need to be the therapist at the wedding. Be like, here's my card. Here's my card. Here, Mom, here's my card.
True.
And I mean, it is TV, so I'm not like so emotionally invested. It's a reflection of our culture and our society. And it's like, it just infuriates me when I see people like Alex, like not taking responsibility. I'm like, you make me want to scream.
Well, I was talking about this yesterday on the podcast I recorded. There's this podcast I follow, Reality Life with Kate Casey, and she's so smart. And she said, a while ago, maybe a year or two ago, that the best season of a show, a reality show, is usually season 2 or 3. In one, they work out the kinks and then they recast. But by season 4, 5, 6, this is production to the max. The couples come on producing themselves or the person. They're there for followers. They have a storyline they created, and it just makes it inauthentic to the audience. And I agree. This show too, like you have to switch it up or do something different because we already know it doesn't. The experiment doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just like real world, right? Like real world got old. And like even the Bachelor franchise, it's just like people go on so that they have potential to be on the next season. And like, it's just, like you said, the first couple seasons are like the rich, actual vulnerability of the person and you're invested and now it's manufactured for sure. And all the production and editing, right? Like we can see that, like I saw some things online. It was just like, oh, half of our conversations weren't put out there because they were a little bit too political or they were too something or something. And it's kind of like, yeah, they have their prerogative of editing, but I, as the consumer, want to see it all, right? Like I want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The audience gets savvy real quick, for some shows, I think. So it's like tired now. So I would hope that they would just change it up a little bit.
I think they have to get married in 3 weeks.
Definitely no kids. Kids, no.
Yeah.
No more kids.
Like, but I do understand that if you don't have the wedding dangling, it's kind of like the Bachelor and Bachelorette. If the engagement isn't at the end, then it's just like, okay, cool. We dated for this whole show is about 2 people dating. Like that's not exciting enough. And this just reminded me, sorry to go back and open this, but Devontae asking for a prenup.
The other thing that doesn't get discussed is those rings are not real. They're not real diamonds. There is no way Netflix has the budget for that.
Are you serious? But Netflix is like unlimited funds.
No, girl. Those rings are like cubic zirconia or like, and then they can upgrade if they want later. But those rings they're giving them, there's no way they're real diamonds.
True. And why would they give them away? Why would a girl get that just for being on the like saying yes, but just being on the show and then breaking up and then walking away with a $20,000 ring? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But
so what are we going to watch next?
I don't know. What's on your docket?
I've got so many things.
There's a new one on Netflix. It's Age of Attraction.
Ooh, let me write that down.
And it looks like the Love is Blind kind of template, not like the behind the wall or anything, but like it was 2 people. So I didn't see anything about it, but I'm thinking it's like you don't get to tell them how old you are. I don't know, but
did it start yet?
I think the first one came out yesterday because I think it was on the
Oh,
same
okay.
day. Yeah. So we'll look it up. But I'm down.
Yeah, well,
You know
all
I'm
right.
down. All
All right.
right.
We'll talk
Well,
soon.
thanks so much. Okay. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Charmingly Toxic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow reality TV junkies. You can connect with me on Instagram at Charmingly Toxic and join the conversation in the Charmingly Toxic Facebook group. This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. While I am a licensed therapist, I'm not diagnosing anyone here. Expect real talk, sarcasm, and a few clinical insights woven in along the way. If you're seeking support for a toxic relationship, please reach out to a licensed therapist or visit my website, dccounseling.org.
Let you catch your breath, no doubt it's me who's running.